you any advice, because you can't spend, this is my second visit to The Hague, and both visits a little more than a day or so. You can't parachute into a city and start describing how things should be. All I intend to do is talk about the experience of London as I have perceived it through my lifetime, and you can take whatever lessons you choose from that. Like most of Europe, Britain has been England as it then was, wave after wave of people's coming and going over thousands of years. But in a sense, the modern waves of immigration started in the 1880s as tens of thousands of Jews fled the pogroms of the Tsar and came to London, mainly settling in the East End. And there was tension and debate. A paper called the Daily Mail, which is sadly still with us today, had just been established, and in 1905 it ran its first populist campaign to stop any more Jews being allowed to come to Britain. And there is a headline from that time which says, "Jews bring crime and disease to Britain." And over the years that followed, they said pretty much the same about the Irish, black peoples from the Caribbean, Asians, and now it is primarily directed at Muslims and asylum seekers. So there's always been that strand in our politics that sees the newcomer as a threat, devaluing our society. And it's just seamless the way that the victims change, but the broad message has always been the same. Following the campaign, we had our first piece of anti-immigration legislation, the Aliens Act. But that didn't stop tens of thousands of Irish coming in particularly the interwar years. And almost every elderly Irish person still has memories of the notices on outside boarding houses saying no Irish, no dogs, and so on. And they tended to settle in defined communities around the Hill, and much as the Jews had settled in the East End. But the city I was born into in 1945, apart from the Jewish community and the Irish community in Kilburn and Chinatown, was overwhelmingly homogenous, English, white, cultural, uniformity. I can remember as a young child my grandmother stopping me on the street and pointing across the road saying, "Look, there's a black man," because I had never seen one. And I watched through my lifetime as the city has been transformed from largely monoculture to being probably the most diverse city of that size anywhere on earth.